All right, so thanks for joining the demo. And typically what I'll do in this demo is first I'll spend about 5 minutes. I'll just give you an overview of what OnCall Air is all about, what the point of the software is, and what it can do for a contracting business. The second part is I'm going to go through and show a few examples of proposals and quotes that have been built with OnCall Air. And then we'll talk a little bit about how you can build those quotes, show you some of the behind the scenes. And then the last part is I'll talk a little bit about how you get started with OnCall Air and the pricing model. So I'm starting this from oncallair.com, which is a good resource. We have a lot of, we just recently updated this. There's a lot of information about the product, some of the features and functionality, including customers and what they say about how they use the product. So OnCall Air is basically software for HVAC companies, for HVAC companies. And specifically, it's for the sales side of their business. So anytime that they're quoting a job, building a quote, presenting a quote to the homeowner in the home, or perhaps remotely by sending a link or texting a link, following up on the quote, making sure that the quote gets accepted, and then getting the right information out of that job so that they can do a successful install. All of that is really where OnCall Air is like hyper focused. There's three key things that we talk about in terms of goals for a contractor. The first is really helping you drive more value and maximize the opportunity. So when you have that replacement opportunity, we make it easy for you to show the customer multiple options side by side, make it easy to show and include additional services and products on the quote, make it easy to recommend services like maybe an extended service, extended warranty, recommend products like an air purifier, humidifier. And also, we make it easy to offer financing so the customer can see side by side different financing options for the different equipment choices that they have. So that's the first thing: maximize the value and of the opportunity. The second thing is helping you close a sale. So this is where OnCall Air, presents a very visual, very modern, interactive type of quote. So if you compare that with paper, of course, or if you compare it with Word or simple like invoice software, it's night and day the difference, right? So this really allows you to offer an Amazon-like experience where if you're in the kitchen table, or if that customer is looking at this from their phone at 2 a.m. on a Sunday night, it still really shows off not just the products you're offering, but also the value of your brand, your services, everything that's unique about your company. And of course, we'll go through examples of that as well. And then the last piece of this is we help you save time. So saving time in building quotes, whether it's a complex quote or a simple quote, building quotes that have multiple choices on them, building quotes that have multiple systems and showing options, all of that can be far faster and can often be done in the home as opposed to having to go back to the office and build up the quote. But it's also about saving time and following up with customers. There's automated follow-up features. There's very clear kind of information about what's included in the quote, the prices, the elements that go into it. So all of that can save time, not just for the sales team, but also for the office staff that has to kind of, communicate between sales and customer and installers. And also for the installers to have the right information about a job at their fingertips. So those are the three things we're focused on. Again, number one is helping you drive more value from each opportunity. Oops. Second is helping you close the sale and stand out from the competition. And then third is saving time in the process. I mentioned that we are an HVAC-focused solution, and you'll see a lot of features in the demo that are very unique to this, including our ability to automatically match up AHRI, our ability to build more sophisticated quotes that include equipment for the replacement side, that include job work, custom job work, that include multiple accessories. All of that is very flexible. And one of the key features is our partnership with Carrier Enterprise with CE. So what that allows us to do is pull back all of the thousands and thousands of either equipment or accessories that you source via CE as a contractor automatically. Your cost on all of those, your specific cost on that is pulled back automatically as well and refreshed every night. Your matchups are kept up to date automatically on those on your CE equipment matchups. The product information, videos where available are pulled back automatically. and even the availability at the nearby CE warehouse is at your fingertips as you're building a quote or as your team is building a quote. So that feature is very powerful. And again, you'll see some of the examples in the demo. The last thing I'll say about this is that while I say it's a software solution, it's very much people-driven and customer-driven. So we don't just hand over blank software. We have a customer success team that works with our customers, contractor customers across the country, across North America, from day one, onboarding, guided onboarding calls, training, providing additional training and support, and throughout, our team is there to engage with our customers. And that's also how we learn, right? So we're constantly kind of hearing what our customers would like, new features, new things that would make it more powerful for them, and we try to build in those features as quickly as we can based on what our actual customers are saying. So we also have some, a wide range of HVAC customers. We have some of the largest HVAC, contractors in North America using this every day, day in, day out. We have owner-operator businesses, entrepreneurs wearing a lot of hats, also using this successfully, and everything in between. So that's it in terms of the introduction. What I'll do now is I'm going to switch into the the demo. So the way I'm going to start this demo is by showing an example of a proposal that I already created. So in a sense, I'm starting at the end. I'm going to walk through an example of this quote, and then I'm going to show a few different examples of quotes, and then we'll step into part B, where I'll go through the process of building a quote, so you can see exactly how easy but powerful it can be to use OnCall Air to build a quote. So in this example, I'm going to be using a contractor, a fake contractor called Air Ninjas. I'm going to pretend I'm like the comfort consultant building the quote, or maybe a tech presenting the quote. I'm doing this demo on a laptop, but contractors use all types of devices to present proposals. They might use an iPad, it's very popular. Chromebooks are popular, Microsoft Surface, laptops, Samsung tablets, you name it. Really any device with kind of a small tablet device or larger that has a web connection is all you need to present a really modern proposal, to build one and to present it. Keep in mind also that there's an option to email the quote, and if a homeowner looks at this from their phone, it looks really good on the phone. Everything works the way you would expect it on that phone as well. So in this example, my customer is Jack. I built a quote for them already, and now let's just pretend that I am at the kitchen table showing them the quote. At the top, I have an introduction to the company, so a little, and our team actually helps you make this look good. Right? You can have some badges that talk a little bit about your capabilities, so you can go through that with the customer. And then in this particular example, this is a carrier dealer, so we're going to be taking advantage of our CE connector behind the scenes. You'll notice that I have 3 different options for this customer, and you'll also notice that it says upstairs here on these options. So each option actually has 2 systems. So this is showing an example of building a quote where you have both an upstairs and a downstairs, and you're actually comparing choices across all 3. I'm also including financing here, so I can include different financing options for each option here, or I don't have to have financing. I could just have the investment amount. It's really up to you as a contractor. And typically what I'll do is I'll click into the first option and start walking through with the customer the details of this particular proposal. So as I scroll down, I'm going to kind of step through the different sections of this. At the top, there's a way to customize this and include kind of a description, personalize the quote. We think this is valuable because, especially if you're not in front of the customer, you can present this to the customer via email. And then when they look at this quote, it might be 2 weeks later, they're still seeing something about your conversation. So it really goes a long way to personalizing it. Then as I scroll down, you'll see the equipment. You can click read more. And in this case, for this high-end carrier system, we have a lot of great videos. The videos play right inside the proposal. It doesn't link you out somewhere else. All this content comes back automatically. So as a contractor, you don't have to manage or maintain any of that content. It comes back directly through our connector. There's many ways you can customize a quote, and a lot of our contractors get very creative with this to really make it their own, right? So Of course, you can include things like a control, a thermostat. Like in this case, also there's a video that'll play if the customer wants to learn more about it. You can customize it. Some contractors will offer things like a smoke alarm upgrade as an example, right? In this case, I've included 4 as part of this job. It's a type of thing that lets you really differentiate your service, offer something unique to your customer that they're going to value, and obviously drive a little bit more margin and profit on the job. So you can upload products as well. They don't necessarily have to come from our connector, so you can upload them. This is an example of a product I uploaded. And you can use this just to convey information about your company. So if you want maybe a picture and some information about who you are as a person and your background, this can also be useful. Again, if that customer is looking at your quote 2 weeks later, they open your quote nicely on the phone, looks great on the phone, and they're comparing that to another contractor who scribbled down some model numbers on a piece of paper. It's a far different experience. You can also use this to convey information about the service that you do, maybe awards that you've won. Again, all of this helps you tell the story that's unique about your company and your brand and the work that you do. There's also ways to customize the checklist of what the customer gets with a job. So this is a great way to emphasize all the work that you're going to do. Again, emphasize your brand name. This checklist can be defaulted, so it's automatically populated. So you and your team don't have to remember to click on it. And you can also customize on the fly from a menu of options that you choose. Again, these are all just examples. Each of these items can have influence the price up or down as well. And you can just create these on the fly. So if there's custom work that you may need to do on a particular system, you can include that and adjust the work that you're going to do and the price accordingly very easily. And that was the upstairs system. And in this case, I have a downstairs system. So I can have different options here, different systems, different capacity. You can mix and match. You could have a ductless system next to a furnace, et cetera. It's very flexible, and you can have you can quote an option with 5 systems in it for a large home. You can also recommend products and services. So if you want that customer to see maybe different options you're offering, you could include those. And the whole idea is the customer can then look at some more information. For instance, in this case, look at the air night, the UV light, click on it, watch a video about it. And then the customer can decide if they want to include it, right? So if they include it, all the pricing updates automatically. What's nice is that the financing, if you're including a financing offer, will also update automatically so the customer can see what the impact might be of including an optional item. We do have a pricing engine that will calculate your selling price based on your formula. So whatever margin you want, whatever assumed costs you have. And because we pull in the cost for the CE product automatically, the pricing engine will adjust automatically to reflect a profit target that you have. So that can save a ton of time in the process as well. And you'll notice here that I've included a couple of discounts. You can do that very easily. You can include different types of rebates as well on each option based on what's eligible. And add them into the pricing equation. You could have deposits included as well based on each option. And then, of course, the whole point is that your customer can then sign. If you're in front of the customer, they can sign on your device. They can read your terms of service. This is all customizable. And sign your quote right on the device or on your mouse pad. Boom, and you're done. Or if the customer is looking at this quote from their home, if I just collapse the size of this browser for a second, you'll see approximately what this would look like if you're looking at it from a phone. So it's a little zoomed in here, but basically everything works and sizes properly for a phone. This is critical because 80+% of the time when you send an email to a customer, they're going to look at it on their phone. That's how most people are opening emails these days. So we wanted that experience to feel very natural and make it very easy for them to navigate on the phone. So that's an example of a quote. If you can also have different options. You can have up to 4 options side by side. You could show one option to a customer. It's very flexible. So you could have also an option, maybe one option has a furnace and the next option has a furnace and an AC. One option could have 3 systems, one could have 2. It's flexible in that sense to adjust to the way that you want to quote a customer and maybe to the way the customer needs a quote or to their particular situation. Once you submit a quote to a customer, if you go back, this is your list of consultations. So as for this company, as a sales consultant, you would only see those that you created or that were assigned to you. As a manager, you can see everything across the business. And if I want to search, so I could search for that particular quote that I just did. Here it is. It shows me a timeline. So for every quote, we have a timeline that shows you what's happened over time. In this case, it shows me when I created it, when I presented it, I made a change to it, and then I presented it again. What's cool about this is that it'll show me before I presented it, before I made a change, what the previous version looked like. So I could click on this button, it would show me the quote before I made the changes. So we're always keeping a historical every time you change the quote. You can also do things like this. If I look at a different quote, I'm going to pull up a previous one. That timeline is incredibly useful because it will show you a lot of things that happen over time on a particular quote. So for instance, you can set up the system to automatically follow up and send a follow-up, automated follow-up to the customer on the schedule you choose. So 2 days later, here's the system sending out an automated follow-up, 7 days later, etc. And oftentimes when you send the follow-up, you'll see that the customer, when the customer actually clicks on it. So in this case, I have an email being sent, and then I can see that the customer viewed it, but I can also see which option they viewed. So it'll tell me, did they view option 1? Did they view option 2? Etc. And you have the full timeline to see and to kind of manage your sales process and kind of get a better understanding as to what it is that your customer is looking at. The other thing, if we go back to this demo, if that proposal was accepted, or even if it's not, and you want to just take a look behind the scenes, as an admin, you can always look at what's called the inspector. It'll show you the full breakdown of everything that went into that particular quote. It'll show you, AHRI rating information, the equipment, your costs, the margins that were marked up. It'll show you accessories, work items. So this is keeps everything in sync, and it keeps it very clear as to what is being committed on that job. You can remove pricing, print this, hand it off to your installers, and it just has the operational work that's going into the job. So in this case, I'm scrolling through a lot of information, but it's all designed so it's useful information for that particular job. It'll even show you the survey questions. So there's a way to take survey notes as you're building the quote to figure out or to take notes about the conditions of the job, what's important for the installers to see. So you can attach all of those, customize all these questions, and attach them to the proposal as well, which can obviously save some time when you're heading out to do the actual installation work. So I am going to switch this proposal into edit mode and kind of walk you through a few of the screens that you have to edit the quote. We're not going to go through this in full detail, but just to touch on the general process. So the way it works is the system will walk you through left to right in the process of building a quote. It first asks you for basic customer information. If you're using our new House Call Pro partnership, you can actually post automatically that customer information from your House Call Pro system into OnCall Air. And then basically the system walks you through left to right in the process of building the quote. You can have customer questions. You can customize these questions. This is where you saw earlier, I can customize questions about the premises, and I can answer the questions with text, or I can attach photos. Selecting the equipment is literally a drag and drop process. So in this case, I have the 3 options that I showed earlier in that quote. Let's say I wanted to add a 4th option for this customer, right? Another comfort system. At this point, I'm showing an AC air handler combination 2-ton. Let's say for that 4th option, I'm going to switch it to a heat pump just for the sake of a demo. What happens is my favorite combinations here are updated automatically. I can see which option I want here. And if you look at one of these options, you'll notice that the AHRI rating is there automatically. The indoor-outdoor systems here, the availability of each system at your nearby CE warehouse is shown to you as you're building it. So you know kind of in general what the stock level looks like. You can click on any of these items. So maybe this fan coil, you can see what the specs are on the fan coil. So as you're building the quote, you have the latest information on these products. I might decide that this is not the right fan coil for this job, so I could click and customize that card very easily. Here I'm seeing different fan coil options. And it's showing me that if I go with this particular fan coil, it's going to give me a 15 SEER match with that condensing unit, and there's 13 available as of this morning at the nearby CE warehouse. So I select that, automatically everything updates on this, including the base selling price, because it knows that this fan coil maybe had a lower cost, so it's adjusting my margin to make sure I'm still reaching the target profit that I want. And then I can drag that up. So literally you drag and drop options to build a quote. Now, you can have different pricing profiles. So if you have seasonality, if I switch this to maybe 2 regions I do business in, I can set up a pricing profile, which is really a pricing formula. And if you notice here, my price changed because now I have a different margin on that. So if I go back to my default pricing, I have a pricing formula here. So that what that's useful for is if you have maybe 2 regions, 3 regions that you do business in, maybe the season, off season, you want to just be able to switch quickly into off season pricing, you can do that. So it's very flexible in that sense. You can customize with different accessories. This can be your list of accessories. You can control whatever accessories you want available. And again, if it's coming from CE, you'll see the availability there. You can click on it, see all the details of the accessory. So as you're building it, you have all of that. If you want to add a new accessory from CE, so if your TM calls you or if you're seeing a promotion on a new thermostat or air purifier, for example, it takes like 30 seconds to add it, price it, and then your team has it to configure into your system. You can also customize services. You can upload services. You can upload products if you want. These are examples of services that I've uploaded into the system. They could have 0 price. They could have a price. And if I want to recommend a product or a service, it's just as easy as recommending it, which will not include the price. It'll make it available so the homeowner can decide if they want to opt into it. You have ways to customize the work that's going to go into the job. This is a menu that you can control with different work items. So you can just pick whatever you need on that job. By clicking on this, it adds this item twice here. So you can very easily customize, what's going into the job. You can add custom items on the fly. And at this point, you can review what's going into that proposal. You can make sure you have everything in each option included. You can add discounts. You can add different discounts for each option. You can add different rebates. You can select your financing from a drop-down here of only those financing offers that you work with. It can be, from any bank that you work with. And then you can present, or you can, if you want to override the price calculation and just set it to a specific target price, you can do that as well. As an admin, you can have control of that. And then once you present, you can either show it to the customer if you're in front of them, or you can email to them. And then, of course, you get all the timeline and the tracking. The last thing I'll close with here in terms of the demo is the office. So this is the admin feature where you can track how you're doing, how your team is doing over a period of time. All sorts of features here, like to manage your pricing setup, your pricing formulas, your markups, to manage your equipment. So you can see for the different system types what your preferred matchups are across all the different capacities, your HRI rating information, what equipment you're including, what your projected pricing and profits are. If you want to add accessories or manage the accessories that you have in the list, this is where you can manage that. It's very easy to add new accessories. You can add either a live accessory, which is coming from CE as our connected partner, or custom, which means you're uploading that accessory, and you get a screen where you can kind of upload, the description, photo, and maybe a name and cost. So there's a bunch of features here. I'm not, it will take a while to go through all of them, but the key thing is that maybe this is the most important button. It's how you access our team. If you sign up as a contractor to use the software, you'll get guidance from our success team. They'll walk you through, they'll connect your system to CE behind the scenes. They're going to walk you through an onboarding kickoff call. They're going to provide materials to help you understand it, and they're going to show you how to make effective use of it. And of course, you can chat with them at any time. They're here throughout, or your team can chat with them too if they get stuck or that they have questions. So I'll just wrap by talking a little bit about how you actually do get on board. So if it's something that you decide you want to try out, our pricing is available at OnCall Air.com pricing. It's based on a monthly a subscription model, so you pay on a monthly basis based on your usage. The minimum cost for the software on the monthly basis is $79 a month. But before I go into that, I just want to talk a little bit about onboarding and setup. We do have a setup fee of $3.99. Currently, we have an offer that's half off, $199, because of the partnership with CE. So it's $199. That gets you guided setup. Will connect the system behind the scenes to CE, walk you through at least an hour-long call to train you. We can hop on multiple calls, no problem. Usually that $199 discounted rate also includes the first month. Right now we have a promotion as well that includes up to 3 months that you can earn through a bootcamp program. So there's 3 simple things you need to do. Each of those simple things will earn you an additional month free. So you can get up to 3 months free. These are things like scheduling your kickoff call within a week, taking a simple quiz, closing 1 sale within the first month. All 3 of those items, each of those gets you an additional free month. So that's the promotion that's running right now as of December 2019. Once you move, let's say it's the 4th month, basically the system meters how much you use it. This is measuring non-test proposals. You can create test proposals all day long if you want to practice or just try out the system. Those don't count. And these are basically equipment proposals. So if you create 12 proposals in a month, you'll be at $79 a month. If the next month maybe you do 35 proposals, you'll be at $179 a month. And then you get really, really busy and you're at 70 proposals in a month. You're at this tier. The max tier is $459 a month. But all of these tiers adjust based on how much you're using the system. So based on the seasonality. So 1 month you might be at this tier, the next month you might be at the 79. And it kind of depends obviously on the size of your business. At all of these tiers, we feel that whether you're closing more sales, you're driving more value on each sale, and you're saving time, all of those add up to 10, 20 times return on the investment in the software. Some people also include a couple extra bucks on their proposals just to cover their cost. And we don't have an annual contract. We believe that we need to earn your business every month. Again, there's a promotion for 3 months free. There's no limits on users. You can add as many as you want. And of course, you have the customer success as part of what you get with the software. So that is the overview. Definitely recommend OnCall Air.com. And if you want to book a follow-up demo or live demo, you can book one here with us. And if you want to get started, reach out to us. You can reach out to us at contact@OnCallAir.com. We'll talk to you briefly because we want to make sure we have the right, connector and set the right expectations. And then we'll send you a sign-up link with that explains and gets you started with the system. So that's the demo. I'm going to stop the recording here.